His brand of emotional storytelling is controversial in our industry. It is controversial on the air, but it is Geraldo Rivera. Later on in this profile, there are some scenes that may be upsetting to some viewers, but the story for which you probably know Geraldo Rivera was more upsetting to him than to anyone else.
But Capone still transformed this place into a haven for crime and vice.
On live TV, Rivera is at an abandoned Chicago hotel where gangster Al Capone once lived. Someone had found what appeared to be a vault. The mystery the promotion for the show said was just what's in that vault. 1/3 of the entire country watched as Geraldo Rivera searched for jewels, money, bodies, or something. His crew knocked down walls and he blew up others.
I tell you, for an hour and a half, I had more fun than I'd ever had on television. And then I came to the realization that we weren't going to find very much.
The program was a ratings smash, but Rivera was the butt of many jokes.
I would have traded 20 rating points for, anything. A skull, I was hoping for a skull. I would have given my kingdom for a skeleton. Life is risky. Live television is just as risky as life. And it was live, and television has to take more chances.
So his reporting shows this here we go, where it stops, nobody knows attitude. And the result is television with emotion.
Probably the stories I'm best known for are stories in which I am the people reporter, where I go to a situation and report on something that is wrong. I went into institutions that had never been photographed before. Went in through the back door with a key that someone had snuck out to me, and went in and filmed children basically unattended and naked and smeared with their own feces and knocking their heads against the wall and moaning and wailing, and just a hell on earth. And I reacted to it as a normal person would react. This is outrageous. This can't be. This is deplorable. We have to do something about this. And I think that by people knowing me, believing in me somewhat, and being able to relate to my reaction and my emotion, it made the situation of those children, naked and unattended, more real to them. I am one of the audience who just happens to have made a reasonable success of myself in the television news business.
After local New York television, he did a late-night talk show for ABC and ended up reporting for the network in 1977. His style broke through to viewers, and soon he was a regular correspondent for 2020. Reporting here in 1983 on the emotional drama of AIDS and the concern that it wasn't just a gay disease. He searched for whales with an environmental expedition and got close enough to touch. He reported on the Atlanta child murders and got an exclusive interview with Wayne Williams.
I'm Geraldo Rivera. How are you? I appreciate your giving us the interview.
But it was a story about Marilyn Monroe's alleged intimate relationship with Jack and Bobby Kennedy that seemed to crash his rocketing career. ABC News president and Kennedy family friend Roone Arledge reportedly called the story sleazy and killed it. Rivera admonished his boss in public, and as a result, they split ways. Do you think that was a big enough issue to leave over the fact that they would not air the piece on Marilyn Monroe and the connection to Bobby Kennedy?
No, I never would have left voluntarily. I never would have, destroyed my career if I had a choice.
If you had it to do all over again, what would you do in that instance?
In the Marilyn Monroe story? Mm-hmm. I decided, after reviewing the facts, that if anybody else but my boss had done that action, in other words, killed the Marilyn Monroe story, I would do a story about it. I would complain about it. It was bad journalism, it was cronyism, it was all those things I said it was. So I probably would have to do the same thing again. It's ironic.
Out on his own, he and his production company formed an alliance with Tribune Broadcasting, which led to a series of live specials. The first was The Capone Show. The second, American Vice. It had more live remotes, more controversy, and more swashbuckling, passioned reporting.
What you're about to see is not a made-for-TV movie or a television police drama. This is real life. The first in a series of raids we'll be showing you this evening. In this one, members of the San Diego, California Police Department are raiding a so-called crack house, where push-yourself cocaine to people in this neighborhood.
Television is a cool medium. It's a screen, and it's removed from your reality. When a reporter in that cool medium acts cool and all together and aloof from the story, and they lecture down to their audience from Mount Olympus, it makes it even further removed from the person watching at home. What I try and do is to, by getting involved in these stories, by getting involved in the reality, by being passionate, by reacting to what I'm seeing, try to convey a sense of what it was really like. And I think that that's probably the biggest difference between me and the other people who ply this trade, at least at the network level.
How do you keep yourself from becoming too much of the story,
well,
to where the emphasis becomes more on you and the viewer's mind than what the subject matter is?
The only answer I can give is that I recognize that that is a danger, and I try and always keep the line of communication pretty uncluttered. Try never to mix fact with opinion, for example, although I'm not shy about giving my opinion.
The crack is in the diaper?
Yes.
And they're not using the baby for cover? I mean, this is pathetic.
What you mean that?
No, this is pathetic, man. Please.
No. Who are you?
I'm someone who is ashamed for you.
Wait, who are you, though? Who are you?
My name is Geraldo Rivera.
Working with police, he dressed up and participated in a drug deal. He was caught by the hidden camera and almost by the crook.
Think I'm good.
He talked his way out of trouble. Why did you put yourself in that position? Some people might say that's even being a little sensationalistic.
Yeah. I'm aware of that criticism. I reject it utterly, though. The drug business is something that is foreign to almost everybody in the viewing audience, thank God. I said, how can we translate that into something that people can understand? How can we show them the belly of the drug abuse beast? The best way, I thought, was for me to go inside. I think that at least the feedback I got from many, many viewers was, that was incredible, intense. I never knew how it happened. I never knew how those dope deals went down. You helped me understand it, and that was my goal, to help people to understand it. And as to the criticism of being sensational, you know, what's sensational to one person is sensational in the positive sense to another. Wow, that was sensational.
When police made busts on live television for American Vice, some of those arrested thought it was not sensational. Do you have any regrets about that show? Because I know one woman, I don't know what the disposition of the suit has been, but she's sued you for like $30 million.
Yeah, $30 million. She sued me on page 1 in every newspaper in the country, and on page 46 they reported that since then she's been arrested for drug trafficking. I'm kind of a lightning rod for criticism because I don't try to be like other people in our business are. You know, that's not to say that I'm perfect or people doing investigative reporting are perfect, because we make mistakes. I mean, there was an illegal alien arrested in San Jose who just was living with this guy who was a heroin dealer. Okay, he was living with a guy who was a heroin dealer, and he got put on television, he got embarrassed, and I'm sorry.
Okay, Carl, let's do the stand-up.
We followed Rivera to Florida as he prepared for his recent special. He lives in New York, but has a base in Los Angeles, where his 8-year-old son, Gabriel, lives with Rivera's ex-wife and TV star Bruce Willis.
Bruce is a wonderful man, and Gabriel loves him, and they get along great. But he's my boy, and I gotta be there for him.
The idea for his latest special came from a conversation he had with his son, a second grader, and a schoolmate.
They wanted to put on a skit for a bunch of, you know, us adults. And I was thinking back to, you know, I'm sure that you put on your play act, you know, so I expected something about Prince Charming and the Dragons or something out of Fantasyland. So the skit they did was, they're two kids about to go home from school by themselves. David says, remember, don't take cocaine from strangers. And Gabriel says, yes, and don't let anyone touch you in any part of your body covered by your bathing suit. I said, oh my God, whatever happened to, you know, the wonderful make-believe of young people?
The result was Innocence Lost, a program about runaways and the pressures facing today's children. It was live, it was packed with emotional stories, and it was controversial. It was Geraldo Rivera.
How old are you? Here, let me see how big you are.
He is the son of a Jewish mother and a Puerto Rican father. Today, he favors his Hispanic heritage.
Yeah, kick out of your homes here in Florida.
My name was Gerald Rivera,
Is that what she is?
and I used Jerry
how is
as
this
my
work?
nickname until I was around 16, when I started to assume the Geraldo. And then it became official way back in the 60s, during the same time that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar became Kareem.
How do you feel about going home?
He features himself as a role model for all Hispanics. But his personal drive and emotion comes from the story of another Hispanic, his father, who after working in a large defense plant for years was fired.
When he was in his late 40s, a new firm came through, one of the chains, and took over the cafeteria concession. And the first thing they did was fire my father because they said he was making too much money and he was too old. So after all these years invested in this job, he was suddenly out there with maybe $3,000 in savings and no place to go, no expectations, no future, essentially. And I said to myself then, I was only in high school, I said to myself, I will never put myself in a position where somebody can come in and do that to me and have it have such a profound negative impact on my life. I'm going to keep the initiative. I'm going to be somebody.
He's keeping the initiative. He now does reporting for Entertainment Tonight, and this fall he will have his own morning talk show. You can see it here on Channel 2.